gentlemen, welcome to Slash and Bash. This is the Independent Filmmakers panel. Let me introduce our guests. First up, we have the ever so wonderful and oddly tall Gary Pylan. We have the amazing and awesome Patrick Ray. I was going to go with the short joke, but I thought, no, that's just too on the nose.
Never heard it.
Never. I'm sorry.
You should make it your
I'm having a break. Introduce yourself. I'm having a break for it.
I'm Tristan Clay. I'm the director of Red Eye.
Not from the child. Ba-doom-boom. Jessica. You're too young to get that reference, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you get it? Please tell me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
He's on the stage with us. I just saw him.
Yeah.
Joe Manco. I'm the director.
All right, let's go down the row real quick and let's get some big of the pinnacle stuff that you guys are known for. Blank stares.
I own Roy and Rep Films, and we've done 6 movies. We're doing our 6th right now. And we have 2 on Amazon, and let's move on to somebody more interesting.
My name is Patrick Ray. I've been making films in the Kansas City area now for 16 years. I directed a film called Nailbiter, which was shot mostly in Lawrence, Kansas. It was released in 2013 in the Red Box, and then I directed a movie called Enclosure with Fiona Dourif and Jake Busey, which then was released under the awful title Arbor Demon, which is but it was on Hulu.
Too on the nose.
It was a little on the nose. It was on Hulu, and then I just had a movie come out last week on DVD in Walmart called Belong to Us, which is not a horror movie. It's a happy family movie. And then I just wrapped a horror movie called I Am Lisa, which I'm starting the editing on. So
I want you to believe that one is a family film, so you'll buy it, and then your kids will.
It's PG-13, so it's not like rated G or something.
Me and Destiny are a team.
Deranged Minds Entertainment.
Deranged Minds Entertainment.
Yeah, bitch.
Our first film, Red Eye, is available on most video-on-demand platforms like Best Buy. It's available on Best Buy, Amazon, all that fun stuff. And we're working on editing Inverted, which is our second feature film. But yeah.
We like making movies and we're orphans. I have my own thing. I'm Jessica Cameron. My first film, Truth or Dare, not the Blumhouse piece of
Garbage.
project. I was like, oh crap, don't insult filmmakers when you're on this. Truth or Dare came out. You can find it currently on Amazon Prime and a myriad of other places. And it's also available signed as a DVD over at my table at Slash and Bash. My second film, Mania, has been picked up. It's been picked up and sitting on the shelf for 2 years at distribution companies. So I'm hoping it comes out any day now. I'm in full production on my 3rd film. And also, I'm on my 10th film as like a producer. So that's pretty cool.
Don't you have a movie that just got picked up and was shown on Sci-Fi just recently or a few years ago?
Oh, yeah, no, so as an actor, I've done over 100 films. So some of them that people know are Camel Spiders, which has been on Sci-Fi Channel for like many, many years that I don't see residuals on and I'm very resentful about. And then, do you? I'll sign it if you ask nicely. It's fine. I also started Red Eye, so you can buy a copy over at their table, and I will happily sign it for you as well as a myriad of other films. Mr. Hush, like a bunch of indies. Chances are I'm like that girl that died way too soon in some indie you saw, and you want to know why I died too early, and the only answer I have is typically that they could afford me for X amount of days. And I'm sorry, but also, hey, filmmaking. So yeah, and I do a little YouTube show called 3.3, which is all about indie, all about horror. So check it out for free on YouTube.
Woo!
I have my film is called Anti-Christmas Carol, and that's featured on Troma Now, which is Troma Entertainment's. They have their own streaming service like Netflix or Shudder. And then we have we've also made another short with Lloyd Kaufman called Murder Balls. We shot that back in May. That was a freaking wacky couple days. And then right now, we have a short film with Paul T. Taylor from Hellraiser Judgment and Lawrence Renato from Breaking Bad and Machete. It's called The Torture, written by Paul Kane from England. And we just wrapped filming, well, we wrapped in May. We're still in post-production, and we have an Indiegogo for that going right now. And we're just trucking along on that. We like horror films.
And here at Slash and Bash, they're showing a trailer, correct?
Yeah, the trailers, actually, this is the first time anyone's watching the trailer to 30 minutes.
I'll tell you what, if anybody is in here and wants to see it and this goes beyond the time, we'll just go and pitchfork and torches to Keith and tell him to play it again. I'm pretty sure we can get that to happen.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like the world premiere here. It's like everyone in Texas is kind of annoyed with me that I'm not showing it there first. I'm like, you guys are going to get to watch it with Fangoria in September because they're going to be screening it before Satanic Panic, their new film. But yeah, it's here.
Cool. All right, so now with all the introductions out of the way, what we're going to discuss for everybody is how films are made, and for some reason I'm having problems. Oh, well, it's not here for any particular reason other than I like having things in my face. So anyway, we're going to talk about...
Well, now we know about your social life.
And yet you have trophies.
Oh, man.
So anyway...
Certain circles, they get you trophies for that. Don't judge.
Yeah, you don't get sex trophies for that stuff, you know, you gotta have children. So we're gonna talk about the processes of going through and making films, and basically starting from, basically if anybody's got any questions, because you want to get started making movies of some sort, whether it be like a short 5-minute movie to, dipping your hand into the whole world of magic and imagination, being the feature length. So, ladies and gentlemen, where does it start for you guys? The whole process. Basics. The first step.
An
I
idea.
was 6 years old, saw Invaders from Mars.
Excellent.
Step 2, 2010, a few years later. I had promised myself to start making movies, so I started a company called Roaring Rat, and we've made 5 movies, worked on our 6th, and they've all been zombie movies. And my process is I don't sleep, and I write stuff down, first in a script, and then I sucker some people to be in my movie. And
They've got
So
that
that's-
camera now.
that's my process. That's my process. So I produce them, I write them, I direct them, and then I take the heat for them not being what they could have been. So
Or just blame an extra.
yeah. And I don't make appearances in my movies.
Mr. Reddy.
I occasionally make appearances, but I would say it definitely starts with an idea and writing the script. I have a writing partner named Michelle Davidson who works with a lot of scripts that we've made, and then it's all about trying to find funds to make the film, creating a budget, going to investors with, this is how you're going to get your return back, and raising those funds, and then obviously the producing side of it is hiring crew, casting the film. I usually storyboard the movies out, which shot for shot. Though this last film I shot in July, I ended up just doing shot lists just because I just didn't have enough time to do storyboards. Pulling the crew together, and I work with a lot of the same people that I actually met a lot of them at KU at film school. And we've been working together now since 2006, so a lot of the same people. So it's been great. I've been just working here in the Kansas City area and trying to build up production, and I just worked with a lot of talented people. And after the film is done, then there's the lovely post-production process, which takes forever, and then
We'll talk about that in a minute.
that's a whole other. That could be a 3-hour discussion. And then, of course, getting a sales agent, getting a distributor, and all that stuff, which is a whole other topic. But it's definitely a long process.
I think for us, the creative process is the first thing, obviously, that you do. But I think it's different for each of our films because the second film we did is about a satanic cult. And it's funny because she goes to, do you want to tell the story about you going to your college and how you were inspired?
Yeah, I think it starts with an idea, and then you really, my thing is, you have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Because if you don't want it enough, you're not going to be able to do it. Because it's the hardest fucking thing you'll ever do. Like, it's so insanely hard, and you'll want to give up so many times. But right at the beginning, you're like, yeah, I think I want to make a movie. Sit back and ask yourself, do I really want to make a movie?
Yes.
Because if you're passionate enough about it, you'll be able to do it. For real, really and truly, you'll be able to. Because I believe if you're passionate enough about something, you're never going to get up and you're going to. So I think that's the first step. And then the second step, getting your ideas down. And if you don't know how to write a script, look it up on Google. Everything's online. Teach yourself. You don't need to go to school. And yeah, go off from there. Oh, and how I inverted. I had a class in school that it was like a New Testament class. So I go to a Christian college, and they were talking about Revelation, and I was like, ooh, that sounds fun. So then we wrote inverted.
Wait, you go to a Christian college?
Mm-hmm. My mom works there, so I go for free.
Really?
Yeah.
How is that not the movie?
There's a
Are you condemned to hell? Are they trying to convert you? Like, when you walk through doors, do people like throw shit at you? Is it holy water?
When I was like passing out flyers on campus for Red Eye, it was a little weird, but
Why did you not film that?
I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. Love the movies, but I want to watch that. I want to see you handing a bunch of Christian college kids your fucking flyer for the first film you made.
I did.
That would be some great marketing material. I agree, because it opens up the door. But the funny thing is the whole Catholic or Christian school thing with the satanic cult stuff. That's a movie in and of itself, just because.
Also, so side note, can you please just take that scene of Heather Dorff, I don't want to give anything away, watch Red Eye, and just show people and film their reactions at your Christian college. That's what I want to see. Like, you can do a YouTube channel of just people at the literally Christian college students reacting to. And I would watch that all day long. Like, please make that happen. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
I'll see if I can see.
Right? So, okay. So, of course, it starts with an idea, which is also, like, not to be a dick, but kind of course it does. Right? Like, we have so many ideas. But fuck that. What really is, it's like an idea that you can't get away from. For me, if I can't stop thinking about it, if I keep dreaming about it, because I have a million ideas. I think every filmmaker has a billion ideas constantly. We see a movie and we're like, we would have done this. Or that inspired me to do this. Or wouldn't that have been great had this happened? Or like in our real life, oh my god, that should have been a movie. Everybody has tons of ideas. For me, it's like those ideas that you can't shake. So the ones that you're thinking about and dreaming about 3 months later, that's what to me makes it into a one page, which then gets made into a script, which hopefully then gets made into a movie, depending upon financiers. Pretty much. Like, if I can't stop thinking about it as a horror fan, not as a filmmaker, fuck that part of it. If I can't stop thinking about it as a horror fan, and I've never seen anything like that, or that's explored that concept, then that's what I want to make. And that's how I determine what goes to camera, personally.
I personally, everything that they've all said is 100% true. And you always hear, get up, go out, and just do it. And if you want to, if you really want to just focus on one project at a time, there's nothing wrong with that. That's mostly ideal. I personally think being in a band is more difficult than making a movie. It really is. You're dealing, because you can just get rid of a production assistant, I mean, but if you get rid of a bass player or a drummer, where your drummer goes, you can't function without me, you're screwed, and then you're on hiatus where you get a drum machine. But, making films are awesome, they're fun, and every time you do it, it gets easier and easier. And it always starts off with an idea, and then your concept grows, but then you realize you have to learn to make compromises and make cuts on your story due to budget. But if you really want to get it done and you have a crew of people that you place them all where their strengths are, you don't know who, until you get on set with your buddies, it's like, who does what? I'm like, okay, well, you actually are really good with Photoshop. You just saved me about $75. Go make some promotional art. Oh, Jason, you know Kung Fu. Can I throw you off the roof onto some boxes. You know how to fall.
No, don't ever throw people off roofs that are not like properly safetied.
No, you don't do that.
No.
No, you don't do that. But
That is bad fucking advice.
no, my friend Jason is actually a stuntman. I learned a lot about
Yeah,
him.
okay, if they're a trained
There's-
stuntman,
there's
they
that
have the
part,
proper
but-
precautions.
Yeah, I would never just go up to you and say, "Hey, can I throw you off a roof?" No, I'd find out who is capable.
Bitch, please, one of the two of us are flying off a roof. It's not me.
I'm not doing it either. But you find who you know and where their strengths lie, and then you put them in that position. And if they're down and they want to keep going, you stay loyal to your team, and it just, like I said, it gets easier every time. And I think I don't remember how many I've made. They're all short films. I've made a bunch of music videos, but it's, I mean, like I said, they get better every time. It gets easier every time, and everyone just knows their craft better.
There's one thing I want to throw on that every one of you have said, that you don't say it with that, you say it kind of passingly, even though it's one of those things that you're so ingrained because you say it so much because it's true. It's the team, family, that whole aspect of it. I mean, I was listening to Kent Wagner when I was talking to him, and it literally boils down, this phone sucks. It's literally, that's all right. I talk loud. So it literally boils down, you guys, like you say, you find those people, the people you went to school with, the people you connect with at all these different events, the people you went to school with, people you meet at school, the people that you interact with on a daily basis. It's always down to that aspect of the team. And like the interaction you guys just had was amusing about, you ain't throw me on the roof, blah, 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 blah. It's great because it's true. You don't do that because you got another person, and that's the point. You was in that passive.
Well, I would have never,
Exactly.
I would have never put Jason through any of this stuff until but I got to know him first. And I got to
Because
see
you
what
knew
he
it.
can.
You didn't think about it, and when you said it,
Well,
not
like,
in a
can I ask
bad
you
way.
what your insurance policy says?
I don't have an insurance policy. We're total gorilla. But Jason is licensed in East Union, and it's like, I trust you, and I've seen your reel, so.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know the guy.
You are far braver than me.
But
I
that's
need
the
insurance.
But that's the point I'm getting at, is that you know your team and you know where they are, what they can do, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, what their professions are, etc. And it ends up becoming a part where you forget to
I
bring
would
it.
add one thing to this, though. I agree with everything you've said, but I have found when I make films, there's one thing that lets you finish a film, is when you, as the core idea person, whoever that is, you're the one that can't give up. There's other people give up.
No, you're the one that makes all the sacrifices.
And you'll see people fall by the wayside, people that promise you all this stuff and then they don't follow through. That's the hardest part for me, is you'll go, yeah, we're in this together, let's make this movie, and then they go, oh, I'm kind of busy on Thursday, and you go, well, yeah,
But
there's
here's the
12
thing, I
people,
think
yeah, 15
realistic
people on set.
expectations serve everybody really well. So if you're an independent filmmaker and you're not paying people, you need to understand realistic expectations. No offense, as somebody who's an actor, if you're cutting my rates or like not paying me, you need to understand you're gonna get what you pay for. Period. So like understand that versus like, I think there's a very big difference as somebody who tries to do her best to pay people always, maybe not a lot, but something. I find that my team goes over and above almost always. Like, I literally cannot tell you a single time when I've been making a movie where the people that I've been working with didn't overextend themselves. Almost always. Like, there's the odd exception, but they are the odd exception. But that being said, I also don't hire people that are working on free movies without getting paid. Like, I hire professionals. And I think that there is a difference between a hobbyist and a professional. So I'm not saying one's better or one's worse. I'm simply saying there's a different level of expectations depending on who you're hiring and what you're paying them. And that needs to be taken into consideration when you're doing the hiring and when you're making the movies.
Well, yeah, that's very true. I mean, because if you're a hobbyist, if you're really into what you're making, you'll eventually cross that line into professionalism. And man, dude, doing these weekend warrior shoots sucks. Because, you're like, oh, we can shoot this day, we have no money, but you really want to make this project. And then, next thing you know, it's going to be a couple weeks before you get back to that same exact project and everyone's just out of it. So yeah, having financial backing, and you can spend 5 days straight working on a small project and everyone's in the groove, and yeah, money always helps. But it is what it is, and it'll be somewhere.
I kind of want to second what Jessica was saying. I've worked with the same crew since 2006, but I've raised their rates every shoot. So basically, their rates for Nail Biter were X amount of dollars, and then when we did the family film, I raised it another $100, and then we did the film we just did, I raised it another $100, and with that, they feel respected, and they do the best job they can possibly do, and we never go past 12 hours. And that's the way to kind of build your crew and build a family that keeps coming back for each movie because they have an enjoyable experience. They don't feel like they've been overworked or mistreated. And of course, we feed them gloriously.
Food helps.
Food is I always tell
too.
people that what's your catering budget, because it's like that's one of the most important things, and a lot of people kind of don't think about it, but it really is. And so, each movie I make, I get the same people back because they had a good experience, they got paid well, and they are willing to work over beyond what they would be getting paid. If they weren't getting paid like at all, then a lot of people, like you said, you can kind of do that for a short film.
Yeah.
For 2 or 3 days, but when you're doing a 15-day feature, you need to pay people.
And you can if you're a short film, you can do that once. The second time, people are going to be like, no, you're, here's the thing about it. About a movie, nobody wants to talk about this. I'm an actor and a filmmaker, so I will tell you the truth. A film getting seen helps the filmmaker the most. In the independent world, more than any of the actors involved, more than the effects, more than the sound guy, the filmmaker is going to benefit the most. So at the end of the day, of course, people don't care as much as a filmmaker because they get the greatest amount of benefit. Think about it in any other acquisition or any other business or job. The person who's getting the greatest benefit is the person who, of course, has to do the most work. Right? But also, when I make a movie, it's my child. It is literally my baby. I don't expect the actors or the sound guy or any of them to treat it the way I do. That's why I try to pay them a little something and work around their schedule, because I know that they're not going to treat it like their own. I hope that they have their own projects to treat like their own so that they understand where I'm coming from, and I do cast and hire accordingly to that. But I also understand realistic expectations that, of course, this is not the most important thing. As an actor, I do 9 to 15 indies a year. As a filmmaker, I direct once every 2 years. So guess which one takes more hours of my day? The movie I make once every 2 years that I literally devote my entire life towards, as opposed to an actor where it's a job and I do it for 2 to 3 weeks and I care a lot about it in that time. So I'm not trying to downplay it, but I'm just saying realistic expectations. I give it the time that it deserves to do my job well, and then I move on to the next gig.
You're saying, before you continue, I just want to point out to everybody, if any of you have a question related to anything that's being said up here, please raise your hand. Don't wait until, they're going to ask questions later. No, raise that hand. We'll be glad to answer that question, and especially if it's in relation to what you just said. If you have a question about that, definitely get that hand up there. We'll gladly answer your questions.
I was gonna add about insurance, because one thing with the last 2 or 3 films, I've had to have insurance on every movie that I make. Especially because now when I go to a location, that's one of the first things they ask is, do you guys have insurance?
Any decent location, and also any rental place require you to have it. So while again you can run a gun,
you can
mocking that, I'm just saying, and also for the record, if you want distribution from even the shittiest distribution company, they're going to want your deliverables, and they're going to require that paperwork to show that you've had it, just in case somebody decides to sue you after the fact. They're going to want to copy it. So again, if you ever want to make profit off your film, get insurance. If you can't pay for insurance, let's just say it's broke, here's a fun little trick. You can literally work around the weekends. So most insurance companies, depending, you can say, hey look, we need it for 10 days, we're not shooting on the weekends, so don't shoot on the weekends, but they'll cut your rates if they know that you're shooting Monday through Friday. For 2 weeks, it's going to be less than if you're shooting consecutively over the weekends. So again, talk to them and just be like, what can I do to decrease the rates? And you can actually get, for me, I usually pay somewhere around $2,000 to $2,300 for a feature film. But again, that's the difference between getting a distribution deal and not. So again, just ask around.
Well, and we just shot at a abandoned police station in Kansas City. Not a very safe location. We ended up having to hire security. Nothing happened. But they wanted
blood splatter, some random weirdo.
In the movie, there's blood splatter, but not, nobody was.
Not in life.
Right. But they wanted $10 million worth of liability insurance. And we luckily were able to talk them down to $2 million. But I mean, they were willing to negotiate with us, which was great. But yeah, like you just have to. I mean, if you want good location, then you have to deal with that.
But also, like, as an actor, here's the thing, especially if I'm cutting my rights, full disclosure, as an actor, I don't have insurance. I'm Canadian. If something really bad happens to me, I'm like, fly me to Canada, I'm covered up there. I don't have insurance. So if I'm working on your movie for a discounted rate, especially, and something happens to me, I can't afford to pay that. So if you don't have insurance, I am fucked in a very real way. Which means, guess what? You're, in my opinion, you're doing your actors a disservice because, and also like as an actor, if you trip and fall over that cord and break your leg, I don't want anyone to go bankrupt over working on my movie for a day.
But that's not just on horror films. That could be like on
No,
a
that's
comedy. That could be
No, but that's on any set, period. It's just on filmmaking, sorry, it's just on filmmaking. So that's where I feel like, again, like an insurance policy is such a worthwhile asset. But also, like, for me, like when I talk to my actors, I don't want anything bad to happen, or my crew for that matter. I want to know that, like, if something, don't get me wrong, like, there's like a $500 typically deductible. So if something happens where it's like less than $500, it's not covered. That's fine. My big thing is, like, if something were, and keep in mind, we're coming from a position where after producing 10 films, I've never had to call in that health issue, thank God. But I know that when I'm hiring actors, I'm hiring crew, if something were to happen, I also get a $2 million policy typically, that's pretty standard. I know that if anything were to happen, they're covered. And to me, that's like a small peace of mind that you owe your cast and crew, for me. And also, like, as an actor, I appreciate that because I want to know, like, if something happens to me, am I going to literally lose everything that I have because I did 2 days on your independent movie, or is it going to be covered? So it's something to keep in mind.